All right, you guys, welcome, and thank you guys for checking out the podcast, the Transformation Motivation Podcast, where I host guests from all over the world here on my podcast. I'm actually conferencing it in with my man, Chris Jones, who is a realtor here in the Rock Hill, Fort Mill, Charlotte area. And basically, we have guests on the show, and what they do is just give you an idea of their process, their journey, their strategies, their tips. The chips. Hopefully he's not eating chips. Different tips and strategies that they use to stay motivated and to reach success, and how they've done it. Because just like me, I look at Instagram, Facebook, all the different forms of media out there just to gain a little bit of motivation for myself. So we'll even talk to Chris about the type of music he listens to keep him motivated. So just everything all across the board. It's just a mixed bag. So we're going to go ahead and get into it with my man, Chris. Chris, what's up?
Hey, everything's good, man. I appreciate you having me on. And when you told me your plan to do this, I thought it was a great idea, and I'm glad you asked me to be a part of it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you for coming on. So Chris, we're going to get it cranking. Just tell us a little bit about your story, because for a lot of people out there, they want to know who you are, because it might be somebody out there that can relate to you and where they're at in their journey. So give us a little background. Who's Chris Jones?
Sure, man.
Who's the man, Chris Jones?
I grew up in the military out in South Dakota. It was a great family and great childhood, and I have a brother and a sister and parents, and everything's great. So just a normal dude in terms of that. I met you.
You're the first dude I met from South Dakota, by the way.
Right. When we run into each other, it's kind of like, oh yeah, you're your brother.
It's another one of you guys.
Yeah. So I met you back in December, and you were talking about your plans for all your transformations and what you do, and your enthusiasm kind of inspired me to get started. I've always been overweight and on the heavier side, and especially as an adult. And so you just kind of encouraged me to get started with my weight loss transformation, and that's right around Christmas time. So it's been about 4 months. Wife, kids, all that sort of stuff, that everyday stuff that kind of gets in the way, and all the built-in that you can possibly have. And
now you say all the stuff that, my bad. You said all the stuff that gets in the way. I mean, like, let everybody know how busy you are. Like, seriously, you got a podcast, you're a realtor. I mean, like, you kind of do a lot of things right now.
Yeah.
You're a dad, you're a husband,
Yeah, so my brother and I own a real estate company with Keller Williams. It's the Jones Zone at Keller Williams Realty. We do like Charlotte, Fort Mill area, York County.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the way we generate business is by having a podcast and making videos and writing a blog and doing different sorts of stuff. So we find ourselves networking, just constantly busy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that comes a lot of chaos in my schedule, so just being on the run, and then the kids and the family type, kind of the everyday stuff that people, when they look back, when they're like, man, how did I get to where I am? That those are like the easy built-in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, I'm down 20 pounds in 4 months. So that's one of those things where, as easy as you could say that's great, you could also say, I wish it was a lot more. And that's part of the journey too, which I'm sure people go through. And but
I think with every transformation story that I talk to, it's probably going to be a thing of, and everyone that I've ever helped to transform their health and wellness, it's always a thing of like constantly being a work in progress. And if you have the short-term goal of losing weight, that's fine, but the long-term goal is to just always be a work in progress. And because once you reach that goal, honestly, we're going to look back and say, man, what's the next thing?
Yeah. And I think that's important. That's one of the things that I like about your approach too, is that it's, you have to, it's a holistic approach in that you have to really change your mindset and without overwhelming yourself. Like you had that strategy about the one thing. I love that, man.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make it overwhelming. If you say, dude, I want to lose 80 pounds, well, that's not going to happen in a month or two. That's a journey that you're going to go on.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be valleys and ups and downs. Everyone's going to have a different story, like with me, with the back injury stuff, like the first step was just getting me to be able to walk straight. I don't know if you remember that. Do you remember my back was still messed up, but just,
that was a huge challenge. And I think for anyone that's at home with a serious injury, they probably need to get like a little backstory on you and what happened like with your back and how it, I mean, did you go through somewhat of a depression after getting like the back injury and everything?
Not really a depression, but it was discouraging. I mean, it was somewhere along the way, I had a couple bulging discs back, and I remember like a couple years ago it started. I think it was after some yard work or something. I'm not sure, but over a couple years it just got worse and worse. And by the time I met you, I was pretty much walking almost hunchback, and so that was part of the journey as well. It's like, let me get my back straight, let me lose some weight, let me get back to being healthy and stuff, because I got 2 kids, 7 and 2.
Yeah,
they want to play and they want to do stuff, and so that was part of it. When I went and saw the doctor for the initial check-in, he was like, dude, don't do any exercise other than the physical therapy exercise they recommend, which was basic stuff, no weights, no body weight pressure, anything like that. So I had to do the first month that we and I were working together, and then after that we were doing seated dumbbell stuff because my back was so tender. And then right when it gets to where I feel great again, of all incidents, my son gives like this crazy hug and just jerks my head and my body down. I can hear my back just going. So that set me back again. Now I'm finally kind of getting back to the point of getting back into the weight stuff. But so I mean, whether it's that or anything that anyone else goes through, everyone has their own challenge, their own journey, and their own progress, whether it's slow or fast or whatever. So.
Now this is the transformation motivation. So I want to get into a little bit more of your motivation, like what's kept you going, what's keeping you going, how do you stay motivated, what's your process? Do you have any rituals, any morning rituals, any breathing techniques? I mean, give me some meat and potatoes right now.
I mean, it's tough, just like everyone that's going through that. You have to break your old habits. And so the one thing that you have to find some sort of motivation. Like for me, it's just like I finally need to get healthy. I need to quit quitting and stay on. Like I mentioned, I have the kids that are 7 and 2. They want to play. I want to be around for them when they're older. I want to walk my daughter down the aisle. All that stuff. So it's like healthy. Having someone like you help. Even if I miss a workout or my diet's not on point or whatever, you've been there. You've worked with people that have gone ups and downs. You're able to provide that consistency and that encouragement to say, hey man, just keep going, keep working, be a work in progress. And motivation, you find like your reason. Like for me, it's a no-brainer. It's the kids, but maybe it's someone else. It's training for a 10K or getting some sort of thing that they want to do with their spouse or anything else. But finding whatever your motivation is and then finding a way to keep that as a motivating factor, you have to have that as well.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of motivational speakers, and they always talk about the why. Like you have to find your why. So your why is going to keep you going. when it does become really challenging, really frustrating, you feel like quitting, giving up, you have to think back to that reason why you started, and that's going to help kind of pull you through those challenging times and keep you moving forward. So your kids, I mean, that's a really big why, you know. I mean, if you really love your kids, love your family, I mean, it's a big enough reason to be in good health and stick around a little bit longer or try to, you know, because, you know, there are major life things that's going to happen with your kids, like getting married and moving into a house, or, you know, whatever. You want to be able to help them to move into a house. You don't want to be on the sides like, hey, yeah, move that box there, or, you know, not able to walk. You know, you want to be able to participate in those things, is what I'm saying.
Exactly, man. So, you know, it's just,
or you can hire a mover because you're Chris Jones.
Yeah, I'll probably pay. Yeah, that's example. Well, probably won't. But I get what you're saying. So
yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just you just gotta keep the big picture. Know that you're gonna have ups and downs, and stay course. So, like I was telling you, even though I've lost 20 pounds, you know, some people might say that's great, you know, and I'll say that's great. But at the same time, I'll say, man, it could have been more, you know. Instead of beating yourself up and being too down about it, it's just like, well, why don't you shoot for more of the next 4 months or whatever? Yeah. You know, so it's, and then a year from now, we'll see where I am. You know, if you told me, hey, a year from now, you'll be 80 pounds lighter than you were, I'd say, all right, that's great. So, you know, it's just gotta just kind of keep going, stay consistent, and it'll pay off towards the end. So consistency is key. Yeah.
We're just gonna get into a couple fun things real quick because we got a couple more minutes, it looks like. So fun things. Just give me your playlist. Give me a motivational playlist. Your top 5. I can't say 10. I had top 10 right written down, but top 5 motivational songs.
All right.
Or a couple. Give me a handful of them. Okay. Motivational songs.
Led Zeppelin, When the Levee Breaks. Have you ever heard that song?
Led Zeppelin, When the Levee Breaks. I'm writing some of these down because
that one's a good one. I like AC/DC, It's a Long Way to the Top. That's a good one. Anything Rolling Stones, like when if I hear Gimme Shelter or Jumpin' Jack Flash or something like that, that's an instant energy boost. So a lot of stuff like that. And then depending what I'm doing, if I'm on the elliptical, I'll listen to an audiobook or I'll watch something on Netflix, something like that. So those are different. In terms of songs, those are the top 3 that came to my mind. But if I'm doing something where it's a little less strenuous, I'll open the WWE work on my phone or something like that. You know?
WWE?
Or an audiobook or something like that. So.
Well, cool.
Or the podcast in the future.
You say what?
Or the Fit Emmett podcast in the
future.
future.
Or the Fit Emmett podcast in the future. In the future is right now. Because we're podcasting right now. Books. So give me some books that you're currently reading, or that you would recommend. Doesn't have to be fitness related. It's anything that you are reading right now.
The book that I'm currently reading is a book by Dan Kennedy. It's called The No BS Approach to Digital Marketing. As I mentioned, we do a lot of stuff for our real estate business. So that is kind of a content strategy book, which I would recommend to any business owner, really, this day and age. Kennedy was a copyright specialist for back in the day, like direct mail, and they ran the thing called Agora. It's a long story, but it's a great book. In terms of like my favorite books, all the classics, Think and Grow Rich, all the entrepreneurial stuff, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The One Thing, you mentioned that. We mentioned that as subject matter, but there is a book called The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Apazan, which they talk about drilling down to what your one thing is, not in terms of motivation, but in terms of productivity. So what's the one thing you can do each day that if you do will make the rest of your day easier? That's kind of the theme of that book. I love a lot of Gary V type stuff. Ask Gary V.
Gary V.
Yeah. Jab, right hook, whatever that one's called.
He says he's not a motivator though. I've heard that on several things. He's like, I don't want to motivate you.
He definitely motivates a lot of people though.
He does, but I think it's because of his actions. He's like he hates being a motivator because as a motivator, you kind of have to. There's some accountability with that too, though.
Yeah.
You don't want to be accountable because he's like, half of the people that are listening to me aren't going to do what I tell you to do, or they're going to look at what I'm doing and just not do it because it's too much.
And and that's probably something that you run across a lot, man. I mean, people look at you as a fitness expert, and you got the body that you have and all the experience that you have. Everyone wishes they could do it, but it's tough to implement that stuff.
Yeah. Quite the challenge. All right. So for the last little bit, we're gonna any motivational quotes, any real good motivational quotes that you live by or that just stand out a lot for you.
A couple that always stand. The Michael Jordan one always stands out, where he talks about how many that he missed. That's what makes him successful. I'm sure you've. Then there's another one where it's you might, I don't know. It sounds that it's for females. But there's one that says, like, what if I fall? Like, it's talking about leap of faith. It's like, what if I fall? And then it says, well, what if you fly? Mm-hmm. And or darlings mixed in there somewhere. So that's why maybe that. But
we'll have to Google that one.
Yeah, it's like something about taking a leap of faith. And it's like, well, what if I fall? And then it's like, oh, darling, but what if you fly, or something like that. So it's just kind of like trusting yourself and taking that leap of faith. Mm-hmm. But yeah, but specific motivational quotes, I don't think I really have any specific, but those are two that come into mind that I think are really good.
Cool, man. All right, so I just wanted to thank you for coming on to the podcast. This is the first episode, so as we go about the process, things change, get better, improve. We add more things. So if you have any suggestions for the show, or if you want to be a guest on the show, we would love to have you. Just email me personally. It's just fitemmett@gmail.com. And if you don't know who Fit Emmett is, can you Google it, please?
Remember that, you're mad.
All right, EMMETT. And this is my man, Chris Jones, with Keller Williams. Him and his brother, the Jones Zone. I'm in my zone. They'll hook you up with a house or mansion, whatever you need. All right, so thank you again, and you guys have a great day. All right.
Remember